What's happening? Tonight we've got the band Killed by Florida that's going to be on the show. Yeah, you know what? Not only do we do metal here, but we also do punk. Fuck yeah, anarchy forever. So, anyways, we're going to have Jammer on here. We're going to have some of the other guys. Going to be one hell of a party. Fuck yeah. Bring your boots.
Button. Got it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, what's happening, guys? You got the
How
guys
you
from
doing?
Killed by Florida.
That's
Sure.
right.
It sounds like a political statement. What is that?
I mean, now it works so well. It definitely feels that way. But, unfortunately, we didn't come up with the name.
Okay.
It was from the Killed by Death compilation series. And they made a Killed by Death that was called Killed by Florida back in like 94, I think. Late 70s, early 80s, Florida punk rock. Yeah, this is the compilation right here. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. That's badass.
So
There's very few of them left in the United States, so it's pretty cool.
yeah, some friends of ours made it and basically gave us the permission to run with the name, and we did.
Hell yeah.
Somewhere around 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago.
Nice. I had the distinct pleasure of meeting you guys Jammer, I've met you personally after y'all came off stage at Sully's Backstreet Bar in Melbourne. We talked a little bit, and you said that you didn't realize the who you were playing to, and there was all those bikers that were in the crowd.
Oh yeah, a bunch of people wearing God, guns, and Trump T-shirts and stuff. It's pretty funny. Yeah, they all ended up leaving.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard a bunch of bikes start up that day, so I was like, yeah, who cares? Um, but so you guys have been together for 8 years, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we started this, me and our old bass player Christian started this probably 10 years ago or so. Just I was playing drums, he was on bass guitar, and we were just messing around and got our original guitarist, Dave. He used to play in the Belligerents and Aspiss, to play guitar. Never went anywhere, never found a singer, never really did anything. And then my friend Brian started playing drums. They still never found a singer. I started singing, and it was nonstop from that point. And that was about 8 years ago, like a month ago. Yeah. And that first video
Wow.
is on our YouTube channel. It's the first video on our YouTube channel as our first show.
Now we had a discussion about what your sound technically is, because I thought it was punk, and then you said that there was a specific genre that you guys like fit in, and that not a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, from what I could tell, because I feel that we are too thrash or too metal for punk sometimes, but yet we're
Right.
not a thrash band.
Right.
We don't play thrash metal. But we're not a metal band either. But we're some hybrid. And I was just listening to just Pandora, and the band came on, and I was like, wow, this like has our feel and our sound. And I started looking into them, and they were considered power violence.
I thought you put it out there. Like, didn't you ask people and they were all like power violence?
Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of that too on Facebook. Yeah, just asking, but I think that's what it is. Which power violence, the definition of it on Wikipedia or whatever, is just like the fastest, most extreme parts of punk rock with a political message, essentially.
Right on.
And
I
that's
mean,
what it feels like us.
and punk rock, I don't think a lot of people realize that punk rock is on a spectrum all itself as well. I mean, it's on the spectrum of metal, and I mean, I've heard um, melodic punk rock. I've heard old school punk rock. I've heard like what you guys are. Um, and I mean, there's even like I mean, you guys as friends, DRI. I grew up listening to those guys, and as a skater, that would, and BMX guy, that's what I was listening to in the early 90s. So, um, so whenever I heard you guys, I was like, immediately I had a lot of appreciation for what y'all do. And then I started like going through your catalog that night after the show, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I really like about you guys. So,
Thank you.
um, I mean, I started following y'all on Spotify. I think you guys are on Spotify, but I know that I,
We're on, yeah, every streaming site. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I started following you guys on there, and then I found you on Facebook, and then it was just like one thing led to another, and I was like, okay, well, I need to have you guys on the show at some point. So, and that's whenever, you know, it's like, hey, you know, would you mind? But, you know, tell me a little bit about, I mean, you like your backgrounds and where y'all came from musically.
I think, so me personally, I guess before I was ever even really into punk rock, when I was in, say, eighth grade or so, I was into metal. And, I always loved thrash, Anthrax, Sepultura, Slayer, SOD, MOD, DRI.
Testament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then some, Guardy Lou even, which was always good, and Deicide, and you know, good old Florida stuff too. But then I met some people in eighth, ninth grade that started getting me into punk rock, and so easy transition, I guess. I still love the hell out of some metal,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's always there. I think you feel that same thing with Alex, right? I mean,
I did the opposite, man. I was from Maryland, and all those DC hardcore bands came out, and that sound grabbed me. You know, Bad Brains, Minor Threat, um, Government Issue, all of that stuff was super hot. And then I just remember Slayer coming out, and I was like, oh my god! And I actually stole a bass drum from my high school and put a cinder block on it. So I had double bass. I had a 22-inch and a 24-inch, just so I could be in a metal band. Um, and that was like, and that was it for me. I also played a little bit of jazz, but I really loved that double bass sound really grabbed me. So I brought a little bit of that to Killed by Florida.
yeah, absolutely.
Right on. So, I mean, I know that, I mean, anybody that's into metal is always grown up with some underlying love for music in general. Me personally, I mean, I can trace my roots back to like blues and stuff like that. Um, Whenever I was really little, that's what I was listening to. Then I would listen to like the 70s rock with my mom and stuff like that. So, who are some of y'all's biggest influences whenever you were just like, you knew as a kid that that's what you wanted to do?
Me personally, I have a very fond memory when I was in probably sixth grade where music actually struck me, and I like felt something. It was Tom Petty, and
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, and like that was like one moment of my life. I remember I was in Mamaroneck, New York, and Tom Petty came on the radio, and I grew up with music surrounding me. My middle name is Morrison. Like my
Nice.
dad had 50 something Zappa records and Doors and Beatles. We always had a turntable and music playing throughout most of my childhood, but it was always background music.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a
Yep.
sudden, I don't know, there was something, just that upbeat sound of Tom Petty that really changed a lot for me when I was young. I'm 40 years old, so it's like
Okay.
this was probably 1990 or something.
For me, my grandparents were jazz musicians and started a radio station in Ocean City. And then I grew up with this thing right here in the house. So that's my dad's Butcher Block Rogers. I don't even know if I can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had that in the house, and I just knew that I wanted to play the drums, be like my dad.
God,
So,
believe it or not, I got my first drum set from a church.
Nice.
Yeah, like I was probably like 12 years old. My mom made me go to this church, and that's where I ended up getting my first drum set. And it took me a couple years to really start playing on it. And
Okay.
yeah, I grew up when I was about 15. I was living with the Rainbow Tribe hippie community, and
Nice.
I had this upstairs of this entire house basically to myself. And we had a drum set up there, and the whole band, like we were like 15 years old, just getting wasted out of our minds, playing music all night. And I mean, we sucked for many years.
That was the day. Yeah, that's when the music was magical. Like,
Oh yeah.
straight out of high school, and you just went with it, and nothing mattered. And I feel like we've worked our way back to that. Like the whole band. I'm super happy to be in the band. It was I've only been in it for what, 3 years now.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know that well, been that
And
long.
it's like everybody's super serious. We go to band practice at least once a week. We play all these shows, and I couldn't ask for anything better at this point. You'd think that it would die off, but it's
Right.
actually a lot busier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God,
Awesome.
I know it's crazy when I think back 8 years. I've been playing approximately a show a month on average, I guess. We played 4 shows this month for
Wow.
8 years, and it's tiring.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Now you just recently played that festival with the Luna Festival, correct?
No, that's coming up actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up the same night this airs, right? The 13th.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
This Saturday we play, Luna Fest up in Vero. We play at 11 o'clock. We're gonna play a full 1 hour set,
That's
which
awesome.
we just did 15 songs in 35 minutes at our last show. So we're gonna
Wow.
try to, I don't know, maybe get 30 songs.
Yeah,
I think we get, no, I don't know if we can do 30
I'm gonna
songs.
stay. I'm gonna stay.
God, yeah, it's gonna probably kill me, but we're gonna try. We're gonna have fun.
We don't start till late.
Yeah,
We
11 o'clock.
closed down the set, I think. So
No, 1983 plays after
okay,
us.
1983. Yeah.
So it's us, the
Right on.
1983, which is always great playing with those guys.
Yeah, Luna reached out to me, asked me if I could be part of it, and unfortunately, it was like right around the same time as Welcome to Rockville. So it's like, and my older sons, I have a 24-year-old and a 21-year-old that went ahead and bought me, tickets for all 4 days, and I was like, well, I don't want to, go from, time clock to time clock kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I don't want to stretch myself too thin, but I've had an opportunity to work with Luna, several times before, and he's a great person. I mean, um, I look forward to opportunities, in the future with them. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I would love. I mean, hopefully, you guys have some video or something like that whenever y'all are there. I mean, with them doing the photography and stuff. I mean, there's a good possibility I'll see pictures from the show, and that's
Sure.
going to be awesome.
I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna work. I know Luna posted something about not wanting flash photography, possibly, or something.
Oh,
We typically have somebody film every one of our shows.
Yeah. Our guitar player is on what's he on YouTube as Tex FL1.
Yeah,
And you
like
can
Texas,
see.
Florida, TEXFL1. And
okay.
our guitarist has at like every one of our shows he's played and with us for the last 5 years or so on there, and a lot of other local shows. He films a lot of shows, so a lot of
That
good local bands for sure.
that's awesome. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, heck, I need to also catch, one of you guys' shows. What are some of the other shows that you guys got coming up? I mean, I know that you got Luna Fest. I mean, what else do you
Got Luna
have?
Fest, then
DRI is coming up.
DRI, yeah.
June 30th, right?
June 30th. This will be our 4th time playing with DRI. So
I might have to come down there and catch you guys for that one. That's
Respectables, Respectables,
Yeah,
West Palm Beach.
definitely come out to that one. That one's crazy always. It's
Yeah.
always a good
oh
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
absolutely.
So you said that was in West Palm, or
Yes, West Palm Beach,
okay,
downtown West Palm at Clematis at Respectables.
okay. So that's about a 2 hour ride for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, maybe I can get my oldest son to come with me because he's like I said, he's starting to get into the same metal that I was whenever I was his age. So I mean, he's bringing me stuff, and he's like, "Dad, have you ever heard this?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I've heard that."
I know my child is 16, and like last year, she's like, have you ever heard the Mummies? It was just like, yeah, the Mummies. Like, you remember that old punk rock band that like dressed like mummies and played keyboard, and like
I
they
don't
were
know.
a classic punk rock band. It was just funny. Now she's definitely got a lot into like good music. I made her some Spotify playlists, and it's great to watch these younger generation grow and
You know,
enjoy it.
my 11-year-old is a huge local metal fan. So whenever we did a show last October, it was with Ant. He had the 3 day festival there at Dragon and Hand Tattoo in Palm Bay, and my 11-year-old, he got a chance to meet so many bands for those 3 days. Well, he met Mind Virus, the guys from Mind Virus, and
Good guys.
oh yeah. So the lead singer, he was like, my son went up to him and he asked if he can buy a beanie because my son wears beanies and shirts from all local metal bands. So he asked him if he had a beanie, and they're like, "No, we don't have any more beanies." So lead singer came over and took his beanie off his head, and he goes, "Now, if I give this to you, you're not going to lose it. You're not going to ruin it, right?" And he goes, "No." And I swear right now he's in bed, but I could probably wake him up and he's wearing the beanie as he's asleep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, my daughter really got into another one, local band, not metal, but the Shakers, who are
Okay.
just classic, South Florida punk rock, been doing it forever now. And yeah, she got to see them, I think, the first time at Stamp Fest, which is always
Nice.
a blast up in the Stamp Bar at Bureau.
And again at Ginger's, she was there.
Yeah, she's seen him a couple times. So that was the first time she's seen him, and really just like, it's great to watch these kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful, and it's funny because whenever we asked Mind Virus to be on Florida Metal Radio here, my son chimed in and he goes, "Dad, can I interview them?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, we got a week until they're going to be on the show. Write up a couple questions, and then you go ahead and ask him live on the air. So he did, and I mean, it was great. And my kids, I've got 4 boys, so all 4 of my boys are into what I do here in some capacity. So I mean, it's awesome. I mean, they support me, I support them and their ventures, but it's it's a family thing here for Florida Metal Radios. But
That's awesome.
oh yeah, so Alex, I
Yeah.
mean, do you have kids or no?
Yeah. One's in the kitchen right now, and
Nice.
I have a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old,
Right
and
on.
the 21-year-old listens to a little bit of punk rock, a little bit of metal, but she's all over the place. She likes reggae and stuff like that. And the 16-year-old, just there she is, right there. She loves wearing our t-shirts, but she's more into Drake.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't. She wanted to go to our last show. She couldn't make it, but she does support her dad, and I love
Nice.
kids.
So what else we got coming up? We got what hasn't been announced yet, but fuck it. Florida Underground Fest up in Orlando. We were
Oh,
there
hell
last
yeah.
year.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun. That's
I'll grab the
the
album.
beginning of August, August 5th, August 6th, 2 day event up in Orlando.
Is that a conduit, or where is that going to be at?
Lose,
Blues Blues?
yeah, Lose, what, Grumpy's and Will's Pub.
Yeah, it's really cool how they do it. They
Yeah,
have
all 3 venues.
3 venues. They shut one down, and then they have band already starting up at the other venues. So, last time we played there, we had a crowd of like 4 people or 5 people. And then as soon as we started up, they just started streaming in the door, and it was rad the way it all worked out.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
awesome.
We're going to be up in Orlando again the end of July, which hasn't really been announced yet either, but with the Antagonizers, Florida, out of Gainesville, and they are fucking rad. Motorhead style, thrashy punk, 3 chicks that are just killing it. So
That's awesome.
I'm really excited for that show. That's going to be really fun. We just put out our last album. That's the thing I should talk about. Yep, Alex's brother. Oh yeah, 12-inch vinyl.
Yeah.
One on my TV. Hell yeah.
4 on my TV. Yep.
And this was recorded by us. I wish I was a little better than I wish I was a little bit closer to where I'm at now, mixing and stuff like that. But it's still a badass album. And Jammer and I did it ourselves, as far as we went into the band room, we recorded all the tracks, and then part of the reason I couldn't get the sound to work on the machine is because I've tried to run it all through my DAW right now, so we used it here. We used the old version of Cubase and some plugins, and some other bands helped us out with mixing. Johnny Honeycutt came over and gave us some tips and told us, about some plugins. So we did it all ourselves, and it turned out pretty good. This is the album.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's artwork by Michael Pucciarelli from Alter State Tattoos.
Yep.
Nice.
Who is just a phenomenal artist. 12 songs. Suburban White Trash Records helped us put it out.
Yeah.
So we went through them. They helped to get made. And then Suburban White Trash, what they do is really freaking cool. So, like we made 300 albums. They bought 100 off of us at cost right off the bat. And then they take them and trade them and sell them through their own site, but they trade them worldwide too with other record companies.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get worldwide exposure, and which is
hell
really
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So
nice, Jammer designed the insert. There's his lyrics. If you're wondering what he's saying.
Nice.
Pretty decent lyrics.
Years ago, people used to hate that they couldn't understand what I'm saying. So I worked really hard to try to make sure people can hear every single syllable I say nowadays. And now people hate to hear what I'm saying. It's amazing how that works.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially
better.
Especially what was it, song number 2 or number 3 that was on there, that was on the back there?
Yeah.
That was from Die DeSantis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a crowd pleaser for sure.
Yeah. It's a hit.
Yep.
Off our first album, we had Kill Rick Scott.
Yep.
And that one was always a classic. And then our second album, we were trying. Song never worked out, but I had one about Marco Rubio getting polio. It was called Marco Polio. Yeah. I wanted to get that out on the second one, and then just have continuous theme going through each album. But that song never made it on there, never actually came to fruition. But then Die DeSantis, I got to write part 2.
Oh hell yeah, man! I mean,
I wrote it so early in his administration. He's done so much worse.
Well, I mean, dude, you got to have something about Mickey Mouse killing him. I mean, something like that, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the first album. I don't have it on vinyl, but we got this one.
No, but in no way do I condone killing the governor. Okay.
No.
That,
and then that's the very first release, I think, where
which we did multiple different covers for that. We just put different images and designs, so you could have our first release only on CD with multiple different covers on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have 2 other people in this band, actually.
Yeah.
They're not here.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's a bass player and a guitarist, believe it or not.
Nice.
Scala's the bass player. He's going to show up late. I bet you he shows up 2 minutes before this thing ends, and then that's he's always late for band practice.
Always,
always.
always.
And then we got Ribs, Mike Ribs. He's from old hardcore band called Bomb Squad in Texas, and he moved to Florida and started following Killed by Florida early on. When he first got to Florida, he put out this CD.
Yeah, Simon called Peter.
Yeah,
he put that out himself.
Right on.
He hired people to play different things, and he doesn't like the way he sings, so he kind of talked through it a little bit.
Yeah, but that's what makes it great.
Yeah,
it's just like spoken word almost the whole time through it with anger and angst, like
and that's what made Henry Rollins so badass. I mean, he didn't really sing a whole lot. It was a lot of spoken word. I loved Henry Rollins stuff.
Yeah, I mean the Family Man thing though got me, like the whole half of the cassette tape. You flip it over and you get right. Wasn't that Family Man he did? That was like
yep.
Yeah, I love Henry Rollins too. And Black Flag's an awesome band.
I love Black Flag, but I tell you, Henry just. No, I couldn't.
He's not as big a fan as you and I am.
No. God, give me Dez, give me fucking Keith Morris, give me, not whatever Black Flag calls themselves nowadays,
Right.
Fuck, the Flag was amazing. I'd seen Flag not too long ago, and then Circle Jerks also not too long ago with Municipal Waste. What a fucking amazing show that was.
It's funny. The first time I've seen, I love Flogging Molly and I love Dropkick Murphys. The first time I saw Dropkick Murphys was probably a good 15 years ago. And I saw them at the House of Blues. And it was funny because I broke 3 ribs in the pit that night.
And still had a great time.
Right. It was a great time. So I'm like, all right, so a couple months went by. I mean, I no, probably longer than that. It was enough to where my ribs had healed, and then Flogging Molly came to town, and then I broke 3 other ribs on the other side. So,
Dropkick Murphys used to come to West Palm almost 25 years ago. God, yeah, I think I had to have been 16, maybe 16, 17 years old, down to Spanky's and Respectables. And God, we used to hop the fence and jump in because we were too young. And yeah, I've seen Dropkick Murphys when they were just like a small band playing local venues. It was crazy to see them back then to what they are now, for sure.
Going back to whenever I was a kid, I saw Testament with Biohazard opened up for them. And Green Jello was the second act. It was hilarious because was it Biohazard or was it Propane? One of those 2 bands. Well, I got kicked out for underage drinking before Green Jello went on, and it was hilarious because I was sitting out back by the buses and stuff, and this guy comes up to me and he's got this real raspy voice and he goes, "What the hell are you doing out here?" He goes, "The party's inside," and I'm like, I got kicked out for underage drinking. He goes, "Fuck that." He goes, "You're my guest." He's like, "Come back inside." So it was Wes Manspeaker from Green Jello. He pulled me back inside, and I just recently talked to him again, and he goes, "I remembered that." He goes, "I remember whenever that happened."
Yeah. So awesome. God, we had 2 opportunities to play with Green Jello, and unfortunately had to pass on both of them. We were already booked.
Yeah.
Well,
Green Jello is, I mean, basically you got Manspeaker that it runs the whole entire thing. He flies in and he's got basically people in costumes all over the country just ready to suit up and play. I mean, he comes in, he does his thing, and then he leaves, and then it was just a local band that had his costumes on.
Did you happen to catch the video he put out, or a video of him chasing down some promoter and like knocking on his doors and going in this dude's house and like forcing this guy to go get him
Yes.
money?
Yes. The
That was great.
promoter screwed him over and he's like had like five people with him.
They actually went to the dude's house and like drug him out and made him go to the bank and get him money.
Oh wow.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
That was a good time.
yeah. Um,
So
yeah, go on.
no. I mean, I was thinking that, whenever we were going to talk, we were going to talk, a great deal about the liberal agenda and how trans people are going to take over the world and stuff. But I
You,
didn't.
yeah, I knew it was going to get there eventually. But Donald Trump is a convicted sexual offender today, right? He just
Right.
got found guilty today of what,
Oh
sexual
shit.
assault? Yeah.
No, I
So
didn't
yeah,
see that. I didn't see that he was actually found guilty. That's
he
fucking
was found
awesome.
guilty. He had to
What's the
pay
criminal court? It's a
no
civil
civil court.
so
Yeah, which I mean, surprise, surprise, I guess.
Right.
You know,
Now we
that's
need
paid
to we get to get
5 million.
Clarence Thomas out of there, and we need to get DeSantis out and Greg Abbott and some of those other assholes.
Just like the Nazis, they will lose.
Yep.
They may think they're winning now, but DeSantis has tried so many things, and most of it still held up in court.
Yeah.
Like what he's claiming as victories, he's done very little of, if anything, at this point, besides
Well,
rounding up the troops and stoking violence and fear, which
well,
is the ultimate goal.
with his whole bullshit with Disney, I've been listening to news and news articles. I've been listening to people talk about, even his supporters that live in Celebration. They're like, we moved here because this is where we wanted to be. We wanted to be close to Disney, and we voted for him. But if he's trying to take away our way of life, just because he has a problem with Disney and their policies, he goes, we can't vote for him again.
No, I think any sane-minded libertarian, should be absolutely against this by everything that they stand by. And then, even the Republicans, I want to hear the Republicans just say we're the party of small government one more time. So I can
Yep.
fucking laugh about it. And the free market will decide. And, like the free speech, they always talk about their free speech because they got banned on Facebook or their YouTube page got taken down or whatever,
Right.
my free speech, blah, blah, blah. But this is
That's
legitimately,
terms of service, asshole. You signed up for that shit.
yeah, trust me, I've had multiple videos taken down off
Me
of
too.
YouTube. They
Yeah.
called us a terrorist organization, took down a bunch of videos because, I I have a lot of songs about war and, videos of war get taken down. Do I think they're, stopping my free speech and this and that? No, of course not. It's a company. Like, it
Right.
is what it
Exactly.
is. But when the government does it, now that's where it really is, a violation of your rights. And
You know,
then
it's funny that they scream and holler about their rights and stuff like that, but then they want to go ahead and they want to boycott stuff like Bud Light, because they put a trans person on their cans.
it's
I'm
insane.
like, who's it hurting?
Let alone who's it hurting, but Bud Light sent that to them, and Dylan Mulvaney, and she has a lot of followers, and it was one can or one six pack, maybe it was just one individual can,
Yeah.
like it wasn't like for sale anywhere. It wasn't being sold in the children's department of some, like, I don't know what fantasies they had. It's
Right.
weird, but yeah, I don't even understand why they made it such a big deal. But the most fucked up part about the whole thing is Bud Light then has backtracked so hard and won't stand their ground at all. And
Yeah.
I mean, fuck Bud Light.
Right.
It was a marketing campaign from the beginning, and they should have stood their ground. And instead, they
Oh
backed
yeah.
them. I think they claimed it was a third-party advertiser, and they fired some people for it. And it's just,
I think that this whole war on woke thing, I think it's stupid. It, I don't even think they understand what woke is.
No.
And for the most part, woke was a hip hop phrase that was coined, uh, basically opening up the eyes to the inner
Absolutely.
workings of inner city projects and stuff. I mean, that's basically all it was. And now they're equating woke as some kind of ideology, like critical race theory and just, all this stupid bullshit that they're, that they're afraid of, that their news companies are telling them, be afraid of this, and they're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker, and a lot of people are getting hurt as a result of it,
Absolutely.
and that's where I kind of draw the line, and doing what I do. I mean, I try not to get political on my show as much as possible, but you and I we've talked about this briefly, through Facebook and stuff like that, and I think that our stuff kind of aligns, with the same mentality, is that you know we shouldn't be chastising a whole group of people just because our government tells us to.
Absolutely
Well,
not.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said you know the media trying to cause fear. There it's too much of a sales pitch now. Like you used to be able to walk into a room with people and have these debates, and now you have the media, and they're hanging their hat on just riling people up and making them fear things. And it's the right and the left at the same time.
Oh
Everybody
yeah,
needs that
Yeah,
headline,
absolutely.
And so now if you got somebody now you don't have human beings in a room, you've got a media perspective in a room. And
yeah,
that's what sucks about the whole thing.
It's definitely sad. I mean, even at the last show we played, I had some random guy come up to me and tell me he voted for Trump. He likes his policies. And I'm like, yeah, Trump's a piece of shit. He's a racist.
yeah,
And, he was like, name one thing Trump did that's racist, which is fucking laughable. But I'm
yeah,
like, Obama is a Muslim from Kenya. Like, write that. That is racist. You prove he is, I will stop calling Trump a racist. But
yep,
he's been a racist since the get go. Nobody's questioned any white president's birthplace or religion. Like, I looked at him like, let's say Donald Trump is from Germany and he's a Satanist. Now we're both making shit up and we could be on an even playing field.
yeah,
Okay, now let's just go from here. We're a make believe land. Let's have fucking fun. And that's where these people live. It's so strange. Like,
yeah,
the pizza gate to the saying Tom Hanks was arrested on the Mexican border for pedophilia, and Oprah Winfrey was on house arrest shipping children in Wayfair boxes. And I like legitimately people were saying this with hashtag save the
yeah.
children. They owe me a fucking apology. Like seriously, these fucking morons sit there babbling this nonsense. And when it's like all proven to be absolute, the most bullshit, batshit crazy fucking garbage you've ever heard, they just act like it never fucking happened and they move
Well,
on. And
my argument to those people is okay. So whenever he was in office, he demonized half of the country. Anybody that didn't vote for him, that was a Democrat or even an independent, he demonized them, and they were the enemy. They were the Muslims in the room. They were the people
but
that
not only that, I mean, fucking Ted Cruz's ugly wife. I
right,
mean, he went against anybody, like Little
right.
Marco and fucking Meatball Ron. I mean, there's
Yeah.
still, yeah, I mean, this is what he does.
So, I mean, but it was to the point where, I mean, his followers were thinking that this kind of mentality was okay. These guys driving around with American flags and Trump flags on the back, thinking that it's okay to beat up on people who are liberal or show any kind of support to the left or have any kind of other opinion other than what their opinion is. I mean, so many different times I had to bite my tongue because I heard people talking about how great he was, and start using all these different slurs, and I'm like, I'm completely and totally outnumbered. I'm afraid to speak up because my kids are here with me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I deal with it all too often. And in real life, not just internet, I worked with somebody that it was every day. And
Yeah.
it really drove me crazy to know this person for 16 years and to know who they were back then, to watch it just go to shit. And all of a sudden just believing batshit crazy conspiracy theories. And it's just so weird the amount of like I've won money. I started betting on money and my boss made me stop because it was just the most absurd shit I've ever heard. Oh yeah, the Clintons and Obamas are going to be in prison by the time Trump is out of office. I fucking bet him money, $100. Bet, let's take that, right?
Right.
And when Trump got out of office, I made him pay me, and then
Yep.
like
It's pretty effective,
yeah,
Or
actually.
absolutely. Like, well, put your money where your mouth is, idiot.
or Robert Kennedy Jr. is still alive, and he's gonna be the next vice president with Trump, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Where
What?
do you get this from? Like, really? Yeah. And the unicorns are gonna fly up my ass and make everybody gay.
Right.
What the fuck are these people thinking, Like, there was a Nazi that shot up a mall in Texas with swastika fucking tattoos and shit. Where's
Oh
the
yeah.
fucking investigations to see why, right-wing extremism it leads to violence and Nazism? And like, where's that?
Right.
One transgender person shot up a school, and Donald Trump wanted to have an investigation on whether or not being transgender makes you shoot up schools. I mean,
Right.
everything else is thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, and then
Yeah.
fucking or silence, and they pretend like it doesn't even fucking happen.
Exactly. And the bad thing about it is like my whole family, my mom, rest her soul, she was a Republican. My dad's a Republican. My brother's a Republican, and I'm the only one that says I don't agree with that. I don't agree with anything that you guys are saying. I mean, I believe that everybody has a right to their freedoms. I believe everybody has a right to live without persecution. I believe that everybody has a right to be an American and not have to worry about being, their rights being infringed upon, not having to go back to the civil rights movement, not go back 50 years, uh, so they cannot be a second class citizen, like women, all these rights that are being taken away from women, the black people, trans people, gay people, just everything. It seemed like it was going very well, and then it just went way downhill.
I agree. Like, before Trumpism and this rise of just idiocracy, I guess is really what it fucking is. I really had hope. And I was like, wow, like cannabis is becoming legal in places, and gay marriage, and like, yay, we're actually like getting a step forward. And all of a sudden it just went to shit. Flat earthers. Oh, that was like the beginning of it, I
Oh
think, right?
Lord,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
flat
oh, yeah.
Earth. Yeah, I don't hear from much of them anymore.
No, they're all Trumpers now.
True, true, true. They all went in and joined on to QAnon or whatever that shit
Yeah.
is.
But one of the new songs that we have that isn't recorded yet, it's called God, what the hell's the name of it? What's the manufactured outrage of today? It's Red Terror Alert. Yes. So I
Okay.
wrote the first half of this song in 2011 when the
Wow.
Mayan calendar said the world was going to end in 2012. So
Right.
like the whole first half of the song is all about like things back then that were happening with H1N1, SARS, MRSA, anthrax terrorist, and the mail bomber. And it's all about TV
Right.
manipulation and how they'd like repeat it on over. And then I found the lyrics and I finished it a couple years ago. So the first half of the song is from 2011, and the lyrics in the second half is all about coronavirus, Trump, the insurrection, and yeah, we always start off the song with like, "What's the manufactured outrage of today?" And then
Hell yeah.
there's always something new. Every time we play the song, I could turn on Fox News for a couple minutes and find out about the M&Ms and what sexy boots they're wearing, or
Oh my god.
and I could like Mr. Potato Head or Dr. Seuss or like
It's giving you a lot of material.
oh god, yeah, I
Oh
literally
my.
thanked Fox News in the back of her last album.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank
Hey
you,
man,
Tucker Carlson.
our kids will do better. I feel like at least my daughters are much more thoughtful and
Caring,
Oh yeah.
caring, you know,
you know.
other people and how their perspective on the world is much less marred
Well,
and
that's why DeSantis is fucking up education right now, because he knows that the newer generation of people are going to be exactly what Trump wasn't, which is caring and compassionate. You know,
Right.
Trump wants the anger and the attack mode of everything and macho alpha bullshit,
Yep.
right? And so when the newer generation is caring and compassionate, has worldviews, multicultural, all of a sudden that's a fucking problem to the Republicans.
Oh
So what do
yeah.
you do? Change school boards, like remove elected people out of their positions. You
Yep.
know,
Well, I
we
mean,
did
Brevard County is going through that shit right now.
yeah, it's
I mean,
horrible. Out in
we
Tampa, what was his name? Ehrenberg, Brad Ehrenberg, I think. I can't remember
right.
his name out in Tampa. Yeah, was he
Was
attorney?
yeah,
yeah.
he was
But
removed.
Yeah, Trump or DeSantis had him removed from his office for saying, basically he wouldn't prosecute somebody that had an abortion, which
Yeah.
is, yeah, stepping on somebody's freedom of speech again.
Yep.
Horrible.
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
education's always been a problem to the elites. You know, people who are elite typically do not encourage education or support it as much as it's threatening to them. But
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of. I mean, kids are way more educated than they ever were. In the
yep.
past.
And people think that, the biggest threat to a tyrannical government is guns. It's not, it's an educated population. And,
Exactly.
like they attack colleges, and yeah, it's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing that they don't want free education. They don't want to make it easy. They want people to struggle, and you know,
They want to keep everything in their back pocket. They want to be able to keep, basically everybody down. Yeah, under the thumb. Exactly. I also found it was kind of hilarious because I mean, if you see over here, I'm a huge Rocky Horror Picture Show fan, and the fact that Rocky Horror Picture Show is one of the movies that is banned in Florida. I'm like,
my
what?
daughter was so upset. She's been waiting because she was allowed to be in it when she turned 16. So now that she's 16, she wanted to go participate and be in Rocky Horror. And then fascist fucker DeSantis did all this shit. Now everybody, is scared to do it, basically. He writes the law
Yeah,
so big and, makes it so people are just afraid. They might have been able to do it,
yeah,
are they going to chance that? No. Now it's
nope,
18 plus just to be there.
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Horrible.
it sucks. I mean, I started doing it whenever I was about 16, and and I did it for probably a good 4 or 5 years. Live. I was part of the cast and everything, but it was a different time. I mean, it was so much more free and fun. And now it's like, we have to deal with, like you said, Meatball. That, he would much
By far the
rather.
greatest nickname for Ron DeSantis. I give he
Yeah.
is good at nicknames. I give him on that one.
So, I mean, in the fact that he would much rather, do a book tour than, show up for, a drowning, what was that, Fort Lauderdale, that was underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he would much rather go on a book tour than deal with that.
No,
Because,
no, he's completely absent there. I mean, I was expecting him to go and like throw paper towel rolls to him or something,
oh, yeah.
he just copies Trump in a lot of stuff, which is crazy too, to see DeSantis's mannerisms and seeing a video of him like saying the word China like a moron, like Trump would, and with this little racist, I don't even know what to call it. Like it's a dog whistle. I mean, that's
Yeah,
truly
it
what it
is.
is. It's a dog whistle. But
Yep.
yeah, DeSantis was doing that same shit too, and it was just and I've noticed it also throughout the years. He's actually changing how he pronounces his name. Like it's not DeSantis, it's DeSantis, and he's done that over the years. You look at early videos of him, and he
Yeah.
is changing how he pronounces his name to appeal to his base.
Yep.
That is
Yep.
crazy. Yeah, you can watch early videos of him in his early political career. and he pronounces his own last name different now. Don't look too foreign. Default. No. We don't like those kind around here.
All right. So now that we're done beating up the liberal agenda, let's go back to the music. So, um, you guys just came out with the War on My TV, correct?
Yeah, it's our third album. Yeah, third album, More on My TV on 12-inch vinyl, which to me, my
That's
first
awesome.
record on vinyl. Yeah, this is like a big accomplishment. I'm very proud of it.
Oh yeah. Now, I mean, are you guys like you said that you were working on some new songs? I mean, is that for the next coming album or?
We're thinking about possibly putting out 2 or 3 4-track EPs, maybe.
Okay.
And then maybe combining them all into a 12-inch or something.
That
We want to get music out faster than, an album every couple of years, and we recorded everything ourselves.
right.
So we have the ability, we have everything set up. We can mic, record, and do this and try to put out littler bits of music a little bit faster and, keep our
It
fans
seems
happy.
yeah, it seems like there's a lot more bands that are doing that nowadays. Doing the 3 or 4 song EPs and I mean even singles, just putting out more and more singles and stuff. But yeah,
It's
I
social
mean,
media.
oh yeah,
Yeah, you got to keep everybody, waiting for the next thing. And, you got to always have something a little bit new, and, you can't go stagnant and stale. They forget about you real quick nowadays.
exactly. I was just getting ready to say that you got to stay relevant.
Yes.
You have a strong presence on social media, and you have to have something new for them to like. Otherwise, oh yeah, I've already heard that album 37 million times. So, and it just came out last week, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
personally like the 3 or 4 song idea just because um we play so many shows. It's a lot to get through to record that much material without mistakes. And the way that we write, generally Ribs will come up with a riff, I'll come up with a beat to it. Jam will have lyrics. He's got a book of lyrics, like hundreds of thousands of different songs, and we come up with something cool. We hash it all out. We work on it, but you can't really play that material the way you really want to play it until you played it live several times. So, like there's 3 or 4 songs that I feel like we're happy with that we played live, and that now it's second nature. We got all the parts. If we added the other 4 songs to that, they just haven't had time to develop, and we do have about
6 new songs.
6 new songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
I know that we could put out 3 or 4 and feel comfortable with it. But even on this album, some of the stuff that we put out, we have these little tweaks and changes that make it super cool. But they're not on the album. You got to go see us live to hear
Yeah.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, things always evolve a little bit, so yeah, definitely some songs on almost every album I've ever done, it's our third one. Every one of them had a song or two that felt rushed on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
so with War on My TV, this evening, I've got in this mode where I was just making a bunch of um, backgrounds for my cell phone. So I made one for the band Corium, who's going to be on the show tomorrow night. I made one for a new one for Florida Metal Radio, and then I decided, okay, well, since you guys are going to be on the show, I might as well, do one for War on My TV. And it
Oh,
basically, I mean, it was just a real quick one that I did through Photoshop, and I sent that over to you guys. But if you guys want to let your fans use it, by all means, that's
thank
you
you.
guys' artwork. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to say anything about it. So, but yeah, I know that, I mean, you got fans that out there, they're like, hey, do you have something that, I could put on my phone and, show that I'm a fan or something to that effect? And I
Oh, that's
mean,
cool.
yeah. So, I mean, I
Thank
would,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And if you guys ever need, small little stuff like that, I also am an artist. I really admire the album cover though. I mean, just looking at the intricate drawings and the artwork for it. Um, yeah, I think that was you guys.
Pooch,
Over
do you
time.
know Pooch from Altered State? Are you familiar with his art?
No, I'm not.
No, he is much more than a tattoo artist.
Okay.
He does guitars. He'll do a full custom guitar for people. He's owned Altered State Tattoos for 27 years. I think they're just about to
Wow.
have their anniversary party coming up. He is like, I don't know if I want to say he's world renowned or not, but Pooch is an amazing artist. He makes little dioramas, he paints, he
Nice.
does oils, acrylics. It's just like like he was in the band Raped Ape. I mean, like, Florida metal at
Nice.
fucking finest. And yeah, Pooch is an amazing artist. Ultra State Tattoos, Pooch Island, I think .com is his website, I believe, where you can find a lot of his really good artwork.
Right on.
We are on every streaming site, anywhere that you stream your music: Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Apple Play, Google, Pornhub, Grinder, Tinder, any of that kind of stuff. You find us there. Might not like what you see, but we're there. But yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. Our Bandcamp is our really go-to spot where we have all of our merchandise, everything for sale on Bandcamp. Um,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So yeah, definitely. What I'll do is whenever I'm doing the editing and final tweaks for the show, I'll go ahead and I'll put the links down below here somewhere.
Sure. All right. You want me to send them to you?
Yeah, yeah. Send them to me, and then I'll go ahead and I'll put them up there. But yeah, just like you guys, I just recently started getting out all the streaming services as well. So
Just kid?
as no, I actually just go through Spotify, because if you go through the Spotify podcast, there's a God, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
Was
you're
it?
different with your show than I would be for music, like having a band. Yeah, so you're going
Yeah,
straight through just podcasts. Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen some of your promotions on Facebook where you're on anywhere that does podcasts, essentially.
right,
Yeah.
right. No, I didn't go to Pandora. The Pandora one was one that I completely and totally forgot. And I don't know if is Slacker Radio still a thing. I mean, I know that Slacker was big for a long time, but
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
I have to go and check that out. It was just I just now thought of it. I was like, oh my god, I used to listen to Slacker. I was like, and then I got into Pandora, and then all of a sudden it was like Spotify, and that's all I listen to now is just Spotify. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely have a my own playlist of you guys' songs on my Spotify. So yeah, you guys are in the rotation
What's your favorite song?
right now. It's hilarious because is it is Die DeSantis, because I have my older sons and we listen to it in front of my Republican dad, and we listen to it loud enough so he can understand the lyrics. So
Yes. Indoctrinate them, please. Yes,
yes. Oh,
yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, spread that liberal agenda.
Yep.
God,
Yep. Yeah, we walk around here wearing our rainbow shirts
oh
and
my
short
God.
shorts, and yep.
You got this Kid Rock off.
Hell
Watch
yeah.
out.
Well, yeah, it's funny because my day job is I work for a one of the big three automotive manufacturers. I can't really say which one because of the political inclinations that we've talked about this evening could actually cost me my job, but they are also a huge supporter of the LGBTQIA. Let me just put it this way: they had a very gold and rainbow version of one of their popular trucks.
Okay. Yeah.
If you remember
Yes. It's
who,
got a couple, it's a letter and some numbers, right?
yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I remember that one. Are they boycotting them now too?
No. We are huge behind the LGBTQIA, and so is Chevrolet, Dodge, Hyundai, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Volkswagen have all doubled down on supporting.
So, one thing that people don't realize is that it's a very small percentage of people that are causing this ruckus.
Yes.
Like it might be at best 20% of, the adult population, but they're just the loudest. Maybe it's even less than that, 15% that is like really this absurd. It's not much. It's not much, but there's more people that are silent that say
Yeah.
nothing. So the people that are like against it don't say anything, and they're never heard, and they just stay silent. And these people are
Well,
8 young.
I'm super excited for millennials, zennials, Gen Z, all of these new generations that are allowed to vote now make up most of our voting population. I think a lot of boomers are getting out of being able to vote anymore because of they're so
That's
old.
friends. No.
Right. And even a lot of Gen X people, we're torn uh, between the two parties. You either grew up,
Yeah,
red, or you grew up blue. Um,
absolutely.
so, and I think that with our generation is a I'm gonna go out on a limb and say at 60-40, with 60 more towards blue than it is towards red. And I'm gonna say that a lot of the younger generations are going to be that blue wave that we keep talking about.
But,
So
but that's Americans you're speaking,
yes.
but worldwide, God, I think worldwide it's way more drastic than that. There's
Oh yeah.
a lot more blue than there is red worldwide,
Well, the fact that Trump actually got laughed at by the world leaders says something.
Yeah.
Whenever he goes up there tooting his own horn, and all the world leaders started laughing at him, and he goes, "Well, that wasn't the reaction that I was hoping
Remember
for," but
that.
and I'm like,
He's a joke. Yeah.
yeah.
But I think a lot of people need to speak up, and that's something that really bothers me just as much as, you know, oh, like being, you're siding with the oppressor when you say nothing, when you watch something happen in front of you, when you know,
Oh yeah.
just
I will defend. I was the best man in a lesbian wedding. I was the only man in a lesbian wedding. So I thought my best friend, whenever she came out to me, she was 18, I was 17, and she said, "Brad, think I like women," and I said, "Sweet, so do I." And she goes, "No, I think I really, really like women." And I'm like, "Cool, me too."
yeah, I
And
mean, who cares? It's mind blowing that people honestly care. You
right.
know, like it's just yeah, it's absurd how obsessed they are with people's genitals. Like,
So, my with her being my best friend and me being a part of her wedding and me being in her, well, us being in each other's lives for as long as it was, after my mom passed away in 2019, she had posted something on Facebook about, Trump. And my dad said some of the most horrific things to her. And I called him up at the time and I was like, "What in the hell is wrong with you? That is the little girl that you've known since she was 18 years old, and you're going to say that to her?
I was
Really?"
I was at my grandfather's funeral, and my aunt's boyfriend comes up and starts telling me how my grandfather died after he got vaccinated, and it was the vaccine that killed him. My grandfather was dying from emphysema and lung problems from being a smoker and a roofer and just, like he was 86 years old, I believe. His time had come,
Right.
like, and just like literally, I'm at my grandfather's funeral and I have this dude standing next to me telling me how the vaccine killed him. And it's just like, get the fuck away from me. What the hell is
Yeah.
wrong with you? Seriously. God,
Yeah, I mean, if my mom was around whenever that happened, she wouldn't have let my dad say that. My mom, even though that she voted Republican, she voted for Obama both times. So, because her and I were able to have decent human conversations like we talked about earlier, not a lot of people can do that nowadays. And she had her views, I had my views, and if it would get too heated, we would say, "Listen, I love you. I really don't think that this conversation is going to go any further. Let's go ahead and talk again tomorrow. After cool heads prevail.
yeah,
And she would have never let my dad say that. She would have never, ever in a million years allow him to say those horrendous things to somebody that is like family to me. So, yeah, I mean, that's just the state of the world that we're in, though. Is I mean, with it, everybody gets away with it, or like you said, you don't say something, you're just as bad as the oppressors.
yeah. We have a song off our last album, "Die Among Us," called "Silence is Compliance."
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that song's all about that, about how just letting these people just go on with their garbage.
yep,
Um, and then yeah, a new song that we just wrote called "If Darwin Was Right." And
okay,
it's basically an anti-centrist song about just standing up for fucking something. Like,
right,
how are you still alive when you're just weak and you stand for nothing? And
right.
so that's a fun song. We've got that one down to about 1 minute and 5 seconds. And it's full throttle all the way through it nonstop. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, I mean, I'm gonna continue to support you guys, on my channel. Thank you so much for, every time that I post something new, I see that you share it, and that's freaking great, and I love you guys for that. That's fucking outstanding. Whenever y'all come to Orlando, I'm gonna be at those shows, so we'll have
That's
to have
awesome.
like a beer or something like that, just
Love to.
hang out and have a good time. But thank you guys so kindly for coming on the show tonight. I can't believe we've actually been talking for almost an hour and a half now.
Not too shabby. The last one we did was like 4 hours.
Really nice.
Yeah. God, we were so stoned and drunk and just like we stumbled out of that place. It was good.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't. Let me. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit. So, that's basically the extent of my studio.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got some more that I'm doing to it, and I'm almost to the point where I can start having guests come in and do like an acoustic set or something, like that. Um, yeah, but for the most part, it's a small studio.
Very cool, man. Very
Yep.
cool. Yeah, thank you for having us out here. Hopefully we'll be back up in your neck of the woods sometime shortly. Orlando, or you're Melbourne area, right?
Just a little bit north, about 30 minutes north of Melbourne.
Yeah, we like playing that area. So
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
we'll definitely be up there again for sure.
right
Um,
on. No, I mean, whenever, and like I said, since, we're on Facebook and stuff like that, I always see, the shows and everything that you got coming up. So, if it's something that, piques my interest, I'll definitely go ahead and jump on and you know, we'll catch up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let me know if you're going down to Respectables, man. Let's do that one.
Oh yeah. I mean, with DRI, holy crap, I could probably break 3 more ribs.
Oh
Uh,
man. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you once again for being on the show. It's always a pleasure talking to y'all. You keep on making some badass music, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Much
Thanks
love,
a
man.
lot.
Respect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. See you guys later.
Peace.